Mike Tomlin, who took over for Bill Cowher in 2007 and has taken his team to 2 Super Bowls, winning one, losing one. His team will get the ball because Mike Nugent will kick off. Cincinnati won the toss and have elected to defer. Chris Rainey, who can be spectacular, a rookie out of Florida, picked in the 5th round, a guy who can bust one at any time, is back to receive the kick. Paul Brown Stadium, great atmosphere tonight on a perfect night, and away we go from the Queen City. A yard into the end zone, Rainey. To the outside he comes, and Rainey with a good run back to put Pittsburgh in good position all the way out to the 40-yard line, tackled by Andrew Hawkins. Let's take a look at the Steelers starters.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami University.
Jonathan Dwyer, Georgia Tech.
Will Johnson, West Virginia.
Mike Wallace, O'Perry Weller High School.
Antonio Brown, Central Michigan.
Heath Miller, Virginia.
Max Starks, Florida Gators.
Willie Colon, Hofstra University.
Doug Legursky, Marshall University.
Ramon Foster, Tennessee.
Mike Adams, The Ohio State University.
And Michelle talking about the injuries, and thus Jonathan Dwyer, who would be number 3 on the depth chart, becomes the starting running back. 3rd-year man from Georgia Tech, drafted in the 6th round in 2010. They fake it to him, and then to the outside to Wallace, who gets a block, and Wallace turns it into close to a first down. Mike Adams, the right tackle, helping lead the way with a block. So Ben Roethlisberger, already 9 years in the league, already to 3 Super Bowls, winning 2 of them. And you can see passing yards per game, 233 over the first 8 seasons, and a little less than 300 this year. 2nd down, short 1, just shy of the midfield stripe. 2 tight ends. And Brown in motion to the inside, and now coming back out on 2nd and short. And he takes the pass, and the bubble screen to the right side. Antonio Brown, who had a great year last year, and it resulted in a big contract, tackled by Vontaze Burfict, a guy we'll talk about as we proceed. Is quite a story this year, the rookie.
We've been talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their lack of a running game, under 3 yards per carry by average. So what they've really been doing now is incorporating these short, quick throws in Todd Haley's offense, and that has become their running game.
Haley last year, the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, as he was for almost 3 full seasons, and before that, offensive coordinator in Arizona. And they hand the ball to Wallace, and that is broken up by Burfict. Burfict, who dropped from maybe becoming a 1st-round draft choice because he had a ton of personal fouls in Arizona State, behavioral issues and all of the rest, making a tremendous impact as a free agent.
Isn't it remarkable, a guy that goes undrafted all of a sudden has become one of the favorites here in Cincinnati? He really was a guy that defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer admitted, I didn't really want him.
But the Bengals through the years, as most of you who follow football know, they take chances. A lot of them. Some work out. 2nd and 16, others don't, as Jonathan Dwyer takes the ball across the midfield stripe. And let's take a look at the Cincinnati starting defense.
Robert Geathers, Georgia.
Domata Peko, Michigan State University.
Gino Ekin, all about the G, go Dogs.
Mike Johnson, Georgia Tech.
Manny Lawson, Eastern Wayne High School.
Ray Maulunga, the University of Southern California.
Vontaze Burfict, Arizona State.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State University.
Chris Crocker, Marshall University.
Reggie Nelson, University of Florida.
Leon Hall, Michigan.
All a good one. We all remember Newman all of those years with the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd and 9 from the Bengal 49-yard line. Roethlisberger hanging in. Line does a good job, and the pass is caught at the 31, and Brown then takes it to the 25-yard line, tackled by Adam Pac-Man Jones. 3rd and 9 conversion. Pittsburgh's been tremendous on 3rd down this year, tops in the league.
The Bengals bring up both linebackers and drop one out, but look at this protection. They leave in the tight end, they leave in the back, get one-on-one coverage on the backside, and for the Bengals, if their pass rush does not get there tonight, they have virtually no chance in this one.
Ben on 3rd down, take a look at that through week 6. 5 touchdowns, no picks, tremendous rating, and 32 first downs from the 25-yard line. To the ground again. Dwyer looks for room inside, finds none. Stopped by Pecco, among others. It'll be second and long.
Well, the big guy in charge of the run game inside, Domata Pecco, pretty easy to pick him out with the hair flowing behind. He would have done all right as a Pittsburgh Steelers nose tackle as well. He is not going to get a lot of sacks, but you're going to run inside, you're going to get introduced to that big guy.
Second and 9. That's Sanders in motion to the inside. Ben with that pump fake, has time, good protection again, and then floats one incomplete. Wallace nearest to it, covered by Leon Hall, great cornerback out of the University of Michigan. It'll be third down and 9. We talked about, or Chris just did, Mike Zimmer, the Bengals defensive coordinator, a guy who could be a head coach someday. In fact, he was interviewed for the head jobs at Tampa Bay and Miami last season. Longtime Dallas Cowboy assistant.
This is where Ben loves to hold the ball, let his receivers work a little bit, see if the Bengals bring a little pressure here so he can't do that.
Third and 9. And the Bengals bring the heat, and Ben has to slide away as he's been doing for years, and then it's dropped. Wallace was right there, would have had the first down, holds his helmet incomplete. Fourth and 9, and in comes the field goal group.
You can't do it any better than that if you're Ben Roethlisberger. Just going to slide out of the pocket away from the pressure you talked about, Al. And boy, I tell you, Mike Wallace, your quarterback makes a play like that, you got to be able to catch that one.
Sean Sweezum will try to cash in for 3 on a 42-yard field goal attempt. Drew Butler to hold it. Greg Warren to snap it. And the first points of the night in Cincinnati belong to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Well, it's Cincinnati, so of course it's a Bengal crowd, but of course when the Steelers are on the road, doesn't matter where they are, you're going to have a lot of Steeler faithful around the country. And of course the two towns are separated by about a 4.5-hour drive, or a 45-minute plane ride, or just a boat ride down the Ohio River.
Yeah, a lot of those Steelers fans have good seats too. I'm wondering who gave up those tickets.
Sweezum's kickoff. This is Brandon Tate coming out of the end zone. Stays on his feet and brings the ball back out to the 20-yard line. 10:20 left in the opening quarter. 3-0 Pittsburgh. And here comes Dalton's gang. As you watch Marvin Jones, one of the rookie wide receivers for Cincinnati, who got shaken up on that play going to the bench. Going to report on him. Meanwhile, Anthony Munoz, your old teammate, on SNF Extra tonight.
Get him out there.
Yeah. From the 20-yard line on first down. And this is Benjarvis Green Ellis, a former New England Patriot, came over as a free agent after they let Cedric Benson go. He wound up going to Green Bay, but he's on injured reserve right now, and he starts with a gain of 12.
A little trick to start here. They're going to bring their left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, over and let him play sort of the tight end position and go a little power football that way and break one off for Benjarvis Green Ellis. The fullback Chris Presley leading the way, and that's a good start for the Bengals. They need to see a little of that.
Big play offense for the Bengals. A lot of long touchdowns this year. Out of the hand of Dalton, who takes this one out of the shotgun, and then it is tipped and almost intercepted. A.J. Green couldn't handle it, and Larry Foote could see it coming into his hands, and then it goes to the ground.
Well, you talk to anybody around here, and they'll talk about A.J. Green for hours. He is the superstar on this team right now, and he lets the first one go right through his hands, but the Bengals catch a huge break to not turn it over on their own end.
Second down and 10. They go empty again here. Dalton, second year out of TCU, throws underneath, short gain, caught. That's the tight end Jermaine Gresham, who'll be his number 2 receiver behind Green, tackled by Timmons. That'll make it 3rd down and 5. Andy Dalton, first rookie quarterback not drafted in the first round to start all 16 games since 1978. That was last year, and he wound up going to the Pro Bowl.
But this is where they've struggled on 3rd down this year.
3rd and 6. They've struggled on 3rd down. And the Pittsburgh defense has struggled on 3rd down. This is like weakness against weakness right now. Who wins this battle? It'll be the Bengals on a completion to Andrew Hawkins, the 5'7", second-year wideout out of Toledo, tackled by Curtis Brown, and that moves the sticks.
Well, one of the things they're going to do is take James Harrison inside and try and work on this new-look Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. But Andrew Hawkins, one of the quickest players in the game, about 5'7", and if you're going to try and play him one-on-one, going to be very difficult. The Bengals want to spread out the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight so that they can figure out who exactly it is that'll be blitzing them.
1st and 10 from the 49. Green Ellis across the 50. Short game. Let's take a look at the Bengals starters.
Andy Dalton, TCU.
Jarvis Green Ellis, the law firm, Ole Miss.
Chris Presley, University of Wisconsin.
AJ Green, University of Georgia.
Brandon Tate, University of North Carolina.
Jermaine Gresham, the University of Oklahoma.
Andrew Whitworth, LSU. Clint Bowling, Georgia.
Jeff Fain, Sanford Seminole High School.
Kevin Zeitler, Wisconsin.
Andre Smith, Rose High.
Andre Smith, one-time #1 draft pick back in 2009. The interior of that line, though, they had to mix and match them together at the end of training camp. And on 2nd and 8, that's caught by Mohamed Sanu, a rookie out of Rutgers, who threw a touchdown pass in their game at Washington earlier this season. That'll set up a 3rd down and 2.
So far, we're seeing only 2 styles out of the Bengals. Either they're bringing everybody in tight and power running, or they're spreading everyone out so they can identify who the blitzers are. Once you get everybody spread wide, you can't get those 7 or 8 guys milling around the line of scrimmage, and any 5 of them come whenever they want.
Now they'll come up in a tighter formation with the fullback Presley. Green Ellis is the running back. And they give it to the former Patriot, breaks a tackle, and takes it to the 30-yard line before Ryan Clark stops him there. That is a gain of 14 to the 30. 1st down.
Powerful double team coming off between the rookie Kevin Zeitler and Andre Smith over there, and runs the double team right back into Larry Foote, the linebacker, and that's really what set up that run. The Bengals, at least thus far, are running better than they really have all year.
Green Ellis, 3 carries for 28 yards. The ball is at the 30. Steelers showing blitz, and here they come, but it's a run play with Green Ellis tackled at the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at the Steeler D.
Ziggy Hood, Missouri.
Casey Hampton, Texas.
Brett Kiesel, Grable High School. Go Buffs.
Lamar Woodley, University of Michigan.
Larry Foote, Michigan.
Lawrence Timmons, Florida State.
James Harrison, Kent State.
Keenan Lewis, Old Perry Walker High School.
Will Allen, the Ohio State University.
Ryan Clark, LSU.
IT Swagger University.
Ike Taylor, who normally gets the other team's #1, which means green tonight. And that pass is caught by Andrew Hawkins, his 2nd grab. Tackled at the 26-yard line. Of course, the biggest guy missing on the defense tonight, once again, there's Troy Polamalu with that calf injury. They don't know when he will come back, but there is the wild card, and he's on the sideline again.
Yeah, and the thing that the Bengals were talking about the most was the impact that he has on the running game, because he has the ability to come off the edge and chase a play down from the backside. He jumps around out there and can just blow up 6 or 7 plays a game. It really throws you out of rhythm.
3rd down and 6. They go 3-by-2 to the left side. They got a couple of blockers out there for Sanu. Sanu breaking a couple of tackles, but is a little short of the 1st down as he takes the ball to the 21-yard line. That's going to make it 4th down and 1.
Mohamed Sanu really getting one of his first opportunities to play. Out here, they're just going to come out and swing out, and they're hoping that the other 2 guys can make enough blocks to pick up that 1st down. And it looks like the Bengals at least are going to give them the old hard count here.
But they're going to line up on 4th and 1. They come up with, Their heavy package. Will they snap it though? With 4.5 to go in the quarter. They'll just try to draw the Steelers offside. And they're going to run the play. And they're going to give it to Green Ellis. And Green Ellis tries to angle his way across the 20. And I think he did get it. Chris Presley helped to lead the way. And that should be enough for a first down. And is on a 4th down call by Marvin Lewis.
Well, they're getting good power movement on the outside with Andre Smith and the rookie Kevin Zeitler over here, and that's all it is. There's just nothing more to it than that. You get that kind of backwards movement on the Steelers defensive line, you're going to be able to pick it up.
The guard Zeitler, 68, their #1 pick out of Wisconsin. They had a couple of picks in the first round. Green Ellis again chugs his way to the 16-yard line. So last year and for the past couple of years, Cedric Benson's done a nice job out of the backfield, but they let him go. And then Benjarvis Green Ellis comes to town. One of the reasons he comes to town is ball security. He had not fumbled in almost 600 handles of the football in his career at New England. What happens? He comes to Cincinnati. He's already fumbled 3 times, but he's turned in some good plays, and in particular tonight is off to a good start. 6 carries already for 33 yards. On 2nd down and 6, here goes Green Ellis again, and he takes it to the 11-yard line. So a long drive for the Cincinnati Bengals. They've already run 13 plays on this drive. Balance, 7 runs, 6 passes.
Yeah, and it's been almost all off to the right-hand side between those 2 guys, Kevin Zeitler, the rookie, and Andre Smith.
And now they go no huddle for the first time, and Green Ellis exploits that, and he'll make it 1st and goal, taking it to the 5-yard line. So the Cincinnati Bengals having trouble on 3rd down this year, but on this drive 3 out of 4, and Pittsburgh having trouble stopping it, and here they go again, no huddle. 1st and goal. And that's Cedric Pearman now coming into the game late. Pearman is the running back, and they're going to call his number, and Pearman is in for the touchdown. Better late than never for Pearman. First career touchdown for him. An 8-minute drive, 80 yards, 15 plays.
Jermaine Gresham's going to get up on Larry Foote and really set that up. Remember, this is Lamar Woodley's game back after a hamstring injury, and not often you see anybody take the ball and run it in one direction all the way down the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Bengals were not trying to fool anybody. They went behind their strength, and it worked.
They review the play as they do all scoring plays, get confirmation. Pearman late getting into the huddle, but they call his number, and in he goes, and now Nugent for the extra point. On that drive, 49 yards on the ground, 31 through the air. The Cincinnati Bengals take the lead 7-3. Jay Gruden, the brother of John Gruden, is the offensive coordinator, 2nd year. Did a masterful job of play calling right there. Going over the pictures. 15 plays, 80 yards to give the Bengals a 4-point lead. And the kickoff is fielded by Rainey, and he's going to come out from about 6 yards in. Chris Rainey, explosive. And a flag is thrown, which will negate a good part of that run back as he was tackled finally at the 32-yard line.
During the return, holding, return team, number 55. The penalty is half the distance from the goal line. Automatic first down.
First call of the night from referee Cleet Blakeman. Ben Roethlisberger, 9 years in the league now, has thrown more passes than any Steeler quarterback ever in the first 5 games of a season. He's only been sacked twice in the last 3 games. That's unusual. And as you can see, he's throwing shorter passes this season with more frequency. And one of the big stories in Pittsburgh throughout the offseason and into the season is the fact they let Bruce Arians go as the offensive coordinator. He and Ben got along famously. Arians now the interim head coach in Indianapolis. They brought in Todd Haley, and it's been a story. It's an ongoing story. In the meantime, Ben has a pass rating of almost 100. Has only thrown 2 interceptions and is being sacked very little. The only issue is they haven't been winning. So it's a story.
Yep.
From the 9, everything's a story. From the 9-yard line. Ben slides left, throws, and that one is dropped again. That's 2 drops tonight from Mike Wallace.
Well, I tell you, with the way Mike Wallace can run, Reggie Nelson just overplays this thing from the safety position. Watch him jump in front of Mike Wallace. It goes behind his head. You never know with the way that guy can run. That's 2. Steelers looked like they were going to score on the first drive. He dropped it and dropped a big one there to get him out of their own end zone.
2nd and 10. Dwyer is the running back. Straight drop. Little pump fake, and then the pass is caught over the middle. That is David Paulson making the catch. Every time you throw to a tight end, you think it's Heath Miller, but occasionally it's the other guy.
Occasionally it's not. And anytime you see somebody playing left tackle, usually it's Max Starks out there. And Max has had a few knee issues and physical problems, but Ben Roethlisberger was telling us, he said, I don't even think about the left side. I don't. I just know that Max is going to get the job done. It may not always be pretty, but he's going to get it done. He's working against a couple of pretty good pass rushers on the outside tonight. Carlos Dunlap, Michael Johnson.
3rd and 3. I think that was a funny bit, though, because every time a tight end makes the catch, they start that Heath chant like in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, it's Paulson, the rookie out of Oregon, 7th-round pick. 3rd and 3.
Paulson, I don't think that works.
Paulson, no, it doesn't. On 3rd and 3. Ben again extending the play, and then throws, and it's caught, and that is Jericho Cotchery up at the 34. And we were talking to Ben last night about when you're out of the pocket, when you're extending the play, what do you do? What do the receivers do? And he says it's like being out on the street. It's all freelance.
Yeah, and Geno Atkins makes a lot of people freelance. Right here, watch the move against Ramon Foster inside. And Geno Atkins just got posterized by Ben Roethlisberger, but he's on a long list of guys that have missed Ben.
They go no huddle here in the waning seconds of the quarter. And the pass to the outside. Now they can let out the Heath as Miller makes the catch and is tackled up at the 44-yard line, setting up 2nd and short.
Yeah, Heath made that catch, but they like this David Paulson. He's really become the number 2 tight end over Leonard Pope. And the belief is that with both those guys inside, one of the things that they wanted to do with Todd Haley was work more to the tight end, and they think Paulson's going to be a good one.
And they'll let the clock run down, and that's going to take us to the 2nd quarter. So we've played 1 in Cincinnati, the Bengals 7, and the Steelers 3. And Sunday Night Football from Cincinnati continues after these messages. Start the 2nd quarter. 2nd down and 2 from the Pittsburgh 44-yard line. Play action, look out. Ben has to get it away and does in time, and Miller makes the catch for a gain of 1, 3rd down and 1. Now that Cincinnati defense, among other things, they have 11 defensive backs on the roster. 7 of them were #1 draft choices, but up front you got Atkins and Michael Johnson, 2 guys who don't get very much acclaim around the country, but they are really good. 97 and 93. And right now Pecco, of course, 94 in the game. He'd be the guy most notable, primarily because of that flowing mane. 3rd and 1. And now it's Dwyer busting his way to the 49-yard line. Goes the 3rd year back out of Georgia Tech. And that Cincinnati defense, a very good pass rushing group. That's almost 2 full seasons with a sack. And if they do it tonight, that would be the equivalent of 2 full. 1 sack every 10.5 opponents dropbacks, and that would be the best rate in the league.
But it's one thing to get to Ben. It's another thing to get him on the ground. And we just saw Reggie Nelson miss. Earlier we saw Geno Atkins miss. So they've had a chance for 2, and they're 0 for 2.
From the 48-yard line. Dwyer to the outside. He can't get away, and you got a flag coming in. 2, in fact, 2 flags. One at the line of scrimmage, the other came in from the back judge.
Holding. Offense, number 83. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Heath Miller.
Well, a lot of times you see grabbing of the jersey inside, but that time Heath Miller kind of got thrown off. And as he was getting thrown off, you could see him tugging on the jersey. And so the official, who ordinarily would not have much of a view of that because he got turned sideways, he saw it and threw the flag.
So it's first down and 20 now, and Chris Rainey is going to come into the game in the backfield, the rookie out of Florida, 5th-round pick. As we mentioned at the very top, the run back man as well, and a guy who can explode. And this time Rainey, gain of about 4. Malaluga makes the tackle. What was it that Haley was saying last night? You know, you look at Rainey, he's a guy who'll gain 1, 1, 2, -1, 50.
Yeah, in the 50s, always looked pretty good. He was at the University of Florida, so I saw him play quite a bit. Just such an explosive guy, and of course, grew up and lived with the family of Marquise Pouncey, who's the center on this team, usually not playing tonight because of injury.
Marquise hurt in the Tennessee game a week ago Thursday on the first series. Again, Mendenhall and Redmond, they're 1 and 2 backs, both inactive tonight. And on 2nd and 16, that is caught, and that's Antonio Brown turning the corner and turns it into a big gain and a first down. And it's Rainey who threw a nice block to help spring him. Brown, who had a fabulous year last year and it paid off with a big contract, picks up 21.
I mean, as a defender, you just never expect this to happen. The receiver catch it, turn up the field, and then go backwards behind you. Terrence Newman, I don't think in his wildest dreams thought that Antonio Brown was going to do that, but when you get a guy who is a 1,000-yard kick returner and a Pro Bowler from a season ago, those are the kind of plays you get.
And fooling a 10th-year defensive back who you think has seen it all. From the 37-yard line, first down. And that's caught over the middle, and that is Rainey for a gain of about 8. To the 29-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Burfict making the stop.
Well, so far Heath Miller hasn't been on a lot of routes because he's over here helping Mike Adams, the rookie offensive tackle who's in the game because of the injury to Marcus Gilbert, and the strategy has worked well. Because of the protection, Ben has been able to stand there, and these receivers at this point are a little better one-on-one down the field than are the Bengals defensive backs.
2nd down and 2. Baron Batch is now the running back, so they've used all 3 running backs here. And that is Brown, and that's a behind the line of scrimmage pass, and then the pass is dropped by Baron Batch, who had an easy touchdown.
Oh, what a brilliant play call. You've got Mike Wallace on the left, who goes across the middle of the field and empties everybody. You see the lateral, has to be thrown behind, perfectly thrown ball, and that's just a panic attack. You know, you do it all day in practice, you never drop one of these things, and you get out there and the whole world watching you, and he didn't even come close. Like he even dropped it, he freaked out.
First time in his 3 years in the league that Brown has attempted a pass. 3rd and 2. And Roethlisberger, this time Wallace is able to hold on, takes it to the 21-yard line, and that's a first down.
Boy, I tell you what, we talked about the reshuffled offensive line up front, and it starts with Doug Legursky playing for Marquise Pouncey right in the middle. They're doing all these little stunts, and Legursky, who played in the Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger when Pouncey was hurt then, has been getting it done. You have to have the signal caller up there as the center, and Legursky's really as good as Pouncey at that, according to Ben Roethlisberger.
Played in the Super Bowl with him against Green Bay a couple of years back at the 21-yard line. Good protection, fired into the end zone, and it is picked off. Chris Crocker with Cincinnati's 3rd interception, only 3 all season long. 2 of them by Crocker to stymie that drive. Chris Crocker with his second pick, Chris.
Yeah, brilliant play by Crocker on that one. And the Bengals have been so unsettled at the safety position, they had to retrieve their veteran from last year, whom they had cut. And he comes up big.
And from the 20-yard line, Green Ellis goes nowhere. Second down and 10, and back we go to the interception.
Yeah, Crocker just sitting back and waiting on this one, but the Bengals have made so many mistakes, gave up a big play in Cleveland because of their two safeties last week, and you see him just jump this straight over the top. And a lot of times everybody wants to talk about 40 speed and vertical jump and all that stuff, but experience and knowledge and intelligence often plays a role, and Crocker played that one perfectly.
Second down and 10, and Dalton's pass is good for a gain of about 2. That's Brandon Tate, who came over on waivers from New England last year. And let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, Bengals rookie wide receiver Marvin Jones, who we saw get injured earlier on a kickoff, is out for the rest of the night with a right knee injury. So they're down one more wide receiver and a special teams player.
So both sides right now missing key folks as Cedric Pierman comes into the game, flanking Dalton on 3rd down and 7 from the 23-yard line.
The Steelers are attacking the line of scrimmage here.
Blitz coming, and the pass is through the hands of Jermaine Gresham, which has happened with him from time to time. 4th down.
Well, they catch a break there, and James Harrison drops back in coverage. End up with your tight end on him, and well, we've seen a lot of drops tonight. It's changed the game. The Steelers have been dropping them left and right, and well, the Bengals trying to match them.
Kevin Huber to punt, and Antonio Brown will accept it. And Brown backs up and hauls it into the 23-yard line. And with room to roam, there goes Brown. A flag is thrown, however, and that about 98% of the time means it's on the receiving team. So, all likelihood that baby's coming back.
Well, Antonio Brown is something, isn't he? See him set up that cut.
Relatively penalty-free game. Haven't seen much of Clete Blakeman tonight.
But really, Steelers' mistake so far in this early going has been the difference.
Yep. Drops, the interception.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 30. Penalty is 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
That's DeMarcus Van Dyke. 8:42 left. First half, 7-3, Bengals. From the 13 on first down. Play action, and then Ben loses the ball. Was the arm coming forward? They're going to rule it a fumble, and recovered by the Bengals. Devin Still and Robert Geathers came in and put the heat on Ben. Was his arm coming forward is going to be the question.
It looked like it was initially, and then he sort of gathered himself. See, it was coming forward there, but then it came out. That's going to be a fumble. Looks like it is, but then he still has control, then tried to raise his arm again, and then it came out. But Al, that was one of the first times all night tonight that Mike Adams, the right tackle, did not get help, and the Steelers paid the price for it.
You know what you have there is you almost have the old tuck rule in effect for the first part of it, and then he brings the ball back.
Yeah, if he had lost it on the first motion, then, you know, the Steelers would have had the ball back. But Mike Adams, they rolled the dice there, and it cost him.
And
we're going to take a look, aren't they?
Well, Tomlin, well, you've got, well, what you have here is a turnover, so you have an automatic review. Timeout. They reviewed it. Here's Blakeman's call.
After review of the play, the quarterback attempted to recock his arm and lost the ball in the process. It is a fumble. The ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Cincinnati.
This is a most interesting play because the tuck rule, we all know about the tuck rule from Kurt Warner and Tom Brady and all of the rest. He initially tries to tuck it back in. If he had done that and not recocked his arm or untucked the ball in a manner of speaking, then he would have gotten away with it. But then he brings the ball back, and that's when the fumble occurs.
Yeah, he'd like to bring the ball back, wouldn't he?
Yep.
This is when traditionally the Steelers defense rises up and makes a play. They need a big one here.
Wallace Gilberry was the man who recovered. The ball's at the 8, and the pass to the end zone is caught for a touchdown by A.J. Green. And just like that, the Bengals have a 2-possession lead. The turnover, 1 play, touchdown, Dalton to Green.
You know, Ike Taylor is going to settle outside here because he has safety help inside, really in perfect position, and somehow they sneak that ball in there. They go with their power look like they're going to run the ball, and I don't know how Ike Taylor missed that one, but Ryan Clark unable to get there soon enough.
6 straight games with a touchdown pass from Dalton to Green. They've gotten into the end zone in every game but the opener against Baltimore. The Who Day chant starts here in Cincinnati, and the Cincinnati Bengals trying to go to 4-3, up by 11 against the Steelers. An 11-point lead as the kickoff is fielded at the 1 by Chris Rainey. And he gets popped at the 21 by Vincent Ray. Penalty on the play.
If this is against the Steelers, it'd be 3 straight kicks, I think, with pretty decent returns.
A lot of hidden yardage because of penalties this year against the Steelers.
During the return, holding, return team, number 20. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And that's Batch, who dropped what would have been a touchdown pass. And the Steelers this season, 36 yards per game difference in terms of penalties. You see Wallace dropping one here, so you got the mistakes. You got Wallace dropping one there. You got Batch. That would have been a sure 6. And then Foote had a chance to intercept a pass there, and then Roethlisberger throws an interception, and Roethlisberger fumbles, and Cincinnati takes advantage. So far so good for the Bengals as Dwyer busts one over the right side and has enough for a first down. Jonathan Dwyer.
Wasn't it interesting talking to Roethlisberger about Jonathan Dwyer, and he said, you know, we had a guy named Jerome Bettis around here who was a big guy that had great feet, and he's kind of, that's what Jonathan Dwyer's kind of like. And I could almost feel myself going, oh, come on. That's easy on that comparison, but you could see he's about a 230-pound guy, and he does have good feet.
Had a 100-yard game against Tennessee last year. First and 10 from the 22-yard line. They run a draw with him. And Dwyer takes the ball to the 27-yard line, tackled by Luga, and that's a gain of 5.
Yeah, Willie Colon inside doing a nice job. He's moved from tackle to guard, and it was a significant move. He didn't have any experience inside at all. Went 2 years, only played in 1 game, then got moved to guard. But a big, strong guy was probably their power blocker over at right tackle all those years when they loved to run off to the right side. Now he's doing it from the left guard.
2nd and 5. Bunch 3 receivers to the left side. Leave Miller in there to block. And Dwyer will set up a 3rd and 2 from the 30-yard line.
Well, we're used to seeing Heath Miller making plays in the passing game, but in this one, he's been a pass blocker and a run blocker, and that's a tough block, getting down inside enough to cut off a speedster like Michael Johnson. But isn't it interesting, they've gone back to the running game when everything was unsettled and tried to run their way out of this.
3rd and a deuce from the 30, 6.5 to go in the half. Running game again, big hole for Dwyer, and away goes Dwyer across the 50 to the 48-yard line before he falls down at Reggie Nelson's feet. That's a gain of 21 yards on a 3rd and 2.
Boy, Willie Cologne's getting it done over here when everything else has been going the wrong way. He's on gathers. Watch him just stay on that block. That's awesome. That's how you get those massive Pittsburgh Steeler kind of running lanes to go through. You used to see it on the right side. Now you're seeing it right up the gut.
Pittsburgh converting over 50% on 3rd down this year. They're 5 of 6 tonight. 1st down at the 49-yard line. This time they call Baron Batch's number. Gain of 2 to the 47-yard line for the 2nd-year man out of Texas A&M, who was their 7th-round pick last year.
Geno Atkins right inside number 97 just came down and clogged that thing up. He's a guy, he's so quick, and you think of him as like a speed player, but he's a 500-pound bench presser, and all of a sudden you see pass rushers, they get ready for those little quick moves of his, and then he just barrels over him. He's a big, strong, powerful guy. Went to the Pro Bowl last year.
2nd and 8 from the 47-yard line, and around. Here comes Brown, and Brown will get a 1st down before he runs out of bounds at the Cincinnati 34-yard line. Gain of 13 for Antonio.
Just so many great athletes on this team, and anytime you start hammering away inside, it sets up the option of trying to get some of these great playmakers that they have out and around. Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace, athletically about as good a group as you'll find in the NFL.
All runs on this drive, all 6 plays, and they make it 7 for 7. And this is Baron Batch for a gain of 2. And you've got Willie Cologne who gets involved in that skirmish with some other combatants. And Blakeman stops the clock and Pyle sort it out.
One of the things that Willie Cologne has kind of had to learn how to do is pull. The Pittsburgh Steelers have always loved that power play. That time he met Vontaze Burfict there in the hole, but he thinks you're supposed to keep blocking. That's, you know, if you, I love offensive linemen that are like this. He's on the ground. You got to keep. Wow. You know, that's Pittsburgh Steelers stuff right there. That is what's defined this organization and all those world championships.
2nd and 8, and that's a pass to Brown on the outside. It's the first time Roethlisberger has thrown a pass on this drive. We have a short pass, kind of an elongated run. 7 runs, 1 pass on a drive that began back at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, and really these long drives have become the signature part under Todd Haley's offense. 10-play drives, only the New England Patriots have more this season, so they're going to end up with a lot of these 3rd and 5s, and this is really where Ben's been at his best.
And the Steelers are 2nd in the league in time of possession. 3rd and 5. Sliding left. Ben going to the end zone, and it's another drop by Mike Wallace, and that time almost picked by Leon Hall. Hall thought he had a shot to pick it. Take a look and see if it was tipped or not, and Wallace couldn't hang on.
Couldn't tell, but Leon Hall made a nice adjustment. It looked like he was going to be burned, looking the wrong way, gets back underneath, and just hard to tell if he was distracted or actually got. Yeah, I think that ball definitely got tipped. Yeah, nice play by Leon Hall.
So now that sets up a 47-yard field goal attempt for Sean Sweezum. And he has accounted for all of the Pittsburgh scoring tonight. The kick is good. A little more than 3 to go to the half. It's 14-6. Bengals. Across from the banks of Kentucky, across the Ohio River, into downtown Cincinnati on this Sunday night. Beautiful night, clear skies. Temperature at game time was 60. Bengals up by 8, trying to go to 4-3, and the Steelers are trying to square their record at 3-3. And when their first game on the road this year. 8 yards into the end zone. That will be down there by Brandon Tate. Let's take a look at A.J. Green, a man of many talents. There he is. And he learned to do that as a kid. Great hand-eye coordination that he possesses right now. And that's it looks easy, but it's not, as we both know. I think we both know, right?
Nothing looks easy about it to me. You're a juggler from way back, huh?
Oh, yeah, right. I've juggled a few things. Over the middle to the 28-yard line. So, Chris, you played in Cincinnati. You've lived here all these years. The mood of the town right now. The Bengals have been so up and down through the years. Where's the town right now?
You know, I think they realize this is a young football team, but they have young stars, and A.J. Green right at the top of that list. Andy Dalton, they come right out in their first year together and make it to the playoffs. They go to the Pro Bowl. I mean, this is a team that has a chance. They're maybe a few years away from really being special, but not bad.
And here is Gresham, and he needs the first down. He turns at the line to gain and comes up a little bit short as Woodley makes the stop, and now he rotates his arm and shoulder, and it will be third down and short, just short of the 30-yard line.
And every time this happens, they get in one of these short yardage situations, the Bengals go hurry up with this power set, and they've been picking it up.
3rd and inches into the ground again, and Green Ellis will pick up that first down, getting across the 30, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. On the other side of the 2-minute warning, the Bengals have had all of their timeouts. 14-6, Cincinnati. Two minutes to the half. First down, ball at the 31. Bengals with all of their timeouts. And then the blitz coming, and that's tipped and incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Believe it or not, that is the first tip at the line of scrimmage by that Steeler defense all season. Took them 5.5 games to get there.
Yeah, and you think of the teams like the Houston Texans we saw last week, and again today, if you watch them play, so many of their big plays all year have come off those tip plays. And on the outside, Cincinnati's best, Andrew Whitworth against James Harrison, coming off that knee injury. So far, Harrison not a factor.
Ziggy Hood was able to swat it. 2nd down and 10. Pressure is put on and into traffic. That's caught by the tight end Gresham. And just before Dalton went down, he's able to shovel the ball to his tight end. Lamar Woodley put the heat on Andy, and that's a first down.
Well, Timmons had man coverage on Gresham that time and was right there, but just couldn't wrap up the big guy.
From the 45 with 90 seconds. Good protection. And that is tipped and intercepted by Woodley. So they don't have a tip ball all year and get 2 in one series, and the second results in an interception.
I'm not sure he meant to throw that ball. It looked like Andy Dalton was trying to hold on to the football, and it just, watch and see if he really is trying to throw this or trying to pull it back. See, you could almost tell he was trying to hold on to it. It slips out and hits his own man in the back of the helmet. That goes straight up in the air. Kevin Zeitler's the helmet that came off. And Lamar Woodley, welcome back after a week off.
Well, so take the tip away because the tip came off the helmet of his own man, Zeitler, the right guard. And that's the first turnover of the night for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's turned it over twice. The ball at the 29. Rainey is the running back. Roethlisberger in the shotgun.
Bengals in their pressure set, and Ben audibling. Let's see if they check out of it.
Steelers with all of their timeouts, and Ben to the outside, and that'll be caught from the 11-yard gain by Brown at the 19-yard line. And that moves the change with 1:18 to the half.
It's a good job by Roethlisberger. When you stack all those linebackers inside to fake a blitz, and that's all it was, a fake blitz, you just cannot run anybody out underneath that out route. He saw it and took advantage to Brown.
At the 19. Sanders comes across the formation. Play fake to Pressure on to the outside. That's caught by Sanders. And Sanders gains 9 yards, gets inside the 10, second and short.
Well, they had people all around Sanders as he tried to get the release. You even saw the defensive end there take a little grab, Carlos Dunlap. And Leon Hall seemed to lose track of him, but now you're getting Ben out in space, and Ben outside the pocket against the Bengals has been a nightmare for this Bengals defense. They have just had no answer for that over the years.
Ben outside the pocket, about as proficient as any quarterback in the league over the last decade. 2nd and 1 from the 10. To the outside again. That's caught by Miller. The ball comes loose and then is out of bounds. Reggie Nelson with a big pop. It was a 2nd and 1. It'll be 3rd down and 1 now.
Good call by the officials here. He makes a clean catch, but gets hit instantaneously, and the ball comes out. They do not give you completions in that circumstance because they don't want those being fumbles. So you have to make a catch and make a move. All that kind of stuff comes into play.
Simple incompletion, making it 3rd and 1. Dwyer is the running back. Tight formation. Give it to him to try to get that yard, and it's going to be close. Needs to get to the 8-yard line. Miller stays in the block as they go heavy here, and the question is it a 1st down or not? They're going to put it right down on the 8-yard line, and Pittsburgh is going to take a timeout regardless. Before we went away, it was close. They measured by half the length of the football. They got the 1st down. Didn't need the timeout that they were prepared to call because there was timeout for the measurement. So it's 1st down and goal, and Roethlisberger throws, and that's Wallace, and he will go next to nowhere. It's Montez Burfict, the rookie from Arizona State, tracking him down. It'll be 2nd down and goal, and that will stop the clock with 29 seconds on a Pittsburgh timeout.
And it looked like Pittsburgh called for the timeout, but the measurement, I think, was the reason the timeout was called. And so now the Steelers still have 2 timeouts remain.
Right, with 29 seconds. Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati.
Now here's a time that ordinarily you think power football or Heath Miller, maybe something like that, but Chris Rainey in the backfield brings out a lot of possibilities.
2nd down and goal. Roethlisberger steps up, throws, and that is Miller for the touchdown. Heath Miller does it year after year. That is his 5th touchdown reception of the season.
Well, Heath Miller's been blocking all night. This time, they finally released the man, let him go down, and Terrence Newman is really right there, but those big tight ends, as we've seen with Gronkowski and others, you just can't get around them and make a play.
So you had the Woodley pick, and now you've got Mike Tomlin, who's going to go for 2 and try to tie the game. 2 bodies of thought here. I mean, through the years, it's early in the game. You go for 1. I like this call. Even though it's very early, I like the call. Jonathan Dwyer is the running back. You don't.
I would have kicked it.
All right. And Marvin Lewis is going to take a timeout. So timeout for the Bengals taken here. So funny, we look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a quote machine. I love the way he puts words together. He's very succinct. So we say to him last night, come on, give us 2 sentences about the game. He says, turnovers will make the difference. I said, every coach says that about every game.
But how's the game come out?
Right.
Turnovers have been the difference in the game.
Kidding him on the field before the game. He said, no, I really mean this. It's a division game, and when these 2 teams meet, it's going to make the difference. And tonight, it's been the big story. And Marvin Lewis, through the years, I mean, he has stressed getting turnovers and not turning the ball over. And take a look at that. His record, when it's a positive ratio, 45, 11, and 1, negative 10 and 51. Right now in this game, he's +1. And now Pittsburgh and Roethlisberger looking to take a timeout here. And now they're going to run the play.
I don't think the timeout after a timeout kind of thing.
The 2-yard line, they tell him no, and now they got to run the play. And Roethlisberger will float one, and it is caught by Miller again for the 2-point conversion. Heath Miller, he can catch him over the middle as he's done for years. He can catch him on the outside as he does there on the fade.
You know, it's one of the things that makes it so tough with these big tight ends. You bring them down, but you can also flank them out. Here he is on the outside against Leon Hall. How about that release move for a tight end? Made him believe he was going to run a slant. They didn't want to run the play. Ended up working out all right for him.
Miller gets that left knee down just before he hits the stripe.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have to be thrilled. All the mistakes they made in the first quarter and a half of this game, for them to be sitting here in a 14-14 tie at this point, pretty remarkable.
The reason that they couldn't get that other timeout is because, remember, before the Cincinnati timeout, Pittsburgh had taken a timeout. So you would have had a third successive timeout. And that's why it was waved off. So they had to run the play that they might have changed had they gotten the timeout. In the best laid plans, of course. Turned out to be the best laid plans.
You know, for the Steelers, I really thought they got themselves settled down and back on track when they started running the football. Remember, they're backed up down there, and they just started pounding it, and all of a sudden then the play action started working, and kind of old-style Pittsburgh Steeler football.
Brandon Tate will be back in the end zone. Sean Sweezum. And that kick, well, it's going to be fielded at the 8-yard line instead of letting it go out of bounds and taking it at the 40. That's Chris Presley. You know, I'm thinking about that timeout situation again. Pittsburgh actually should have been allowed to take the timeout because Pittsburgh took a timeout, ran a play, which resulted in a touchdown. Since he then took the timeout, so Pittsburgh actually should have been allowed to take a timeout.
I bet you the Bengals
wave it
wish
off
they
right
had.
now. Yeah, right.
It all worked out in the Steelers' favor in the end.
And now Cincinnati will take a knee here to end the opening half, which was pretty much dominated by Cincinnati until late in the second quarter. Big turnover, touchdown in the middle, 2-point conversion, and we'll go to the half with the game tied 14-14. Brandon Tate to run it back, and Brandon Tate with a good run back, and he'll set Dalton up at the 37-yard line. And let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Mike Tomlin told me at halftime, Al, they've got to stop shooting themselves in the foot. He's referring to the penalties, the drop passes, the turnovers. But he said, this is 30 minutes of football. We're still in it. We're still fighting. He felt the game changed when they stopped turning the ball over. As for Marvin Lewis, he pointed to their 80-yard scoring drive. And he said what was key in that drive was being able to run the football. We've got to continue to run the football well here in the second half.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And we'll see if they start that way because Green Ellis is their main running back. He had 10 carries for 46 yards in the opening half. They start from the 38-yard line and they fake it to him, and they begin in the air, and that is a gain of close to 10. That's Ryan Whalen, second-year man out of Stanford. Quarterback pressure tonight, Harrison and Woodley, and apart from that one pick by Woodley, pretty quiet.
Yeah, James Harrison, no question, he's still battling the knee. He acknowledged that, you know, he was late getting to the surgery, thought he had an answer for it, didn't work out that way, and just coming back up to form now.
From the 48-yard line on 2nd and 1, good stutter step by Green Ellis, but a flag, so what would have been a first down is now dubious.
Holding. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, James Harrison, if you watch football at all, you know he's been one of the great players in the league. Look at him turn the corner here and the kind of torque he could put on that left knee. And now, not quite the same. I mean, you could just see it. He wants to be able to turn the corner like that. And yes, he's going against the Bengals' best and Andrew Whitworth, but he's working his way back, and you can tell the difference.
That penalty was called on Trevor Robinson. It's the first penalty of the night against Cincinnati. Second down and 11. And going up to the 45-yard line, that is Mohamed Sanu. Saw him in the game early. He's the guy that tricked Washington on the first play of the game back in Landover, week 3 of the season, by throwing a touchdown pass.
Yeah, and they are playing a lot of different receivers in this game. Ryan Whalen, the guy that caught the pass to start this drive, is getting his opportunity. Of course, Marvin Jones would have, but he got hurt. Now Mohamed Sanu shows up in the backfield.
Third down and 4. And on a slant, that's caught, and there is Sanu showing up again. Taking the ball to the 40-yard line, tackled by Curtis Brown, the rookie out of Rutgers. Sanu picked in the 3rd round, gain of 17.
Jay Gruden saying that he felt like that Sanu would be a better game player than what he is in practice. He doesn't have exceptional speed. He doesn't have exceptional quickness. What he does have is a lot of strength, a lot of heart, and when he gets his hands on the football, he is a difficult guy to tackle, and you saw a little bit of it there.
39-yard line. Green Ellis, referring to himself as the law firm and great nicknames. And Jarvis Green Ellis, tackled by Ryan Clark.
Well, I tell you, when a lot of big guys, we've talked about Zeitler and Smith on this side, but Dennis Rowland right here, watch this block. They've been using him as a tight end, but he is getting a lot of movement as well, driving the Steelers and Lamar Woodley off the ball.
2nd and 4. And once again, Green Ellis, a little pushy shovey there, and let's check in with Michelle again.
Al, Trevor Robinson is in at center because Jeff Fain right now is questionable because of a hamstring injury. We're trying to find out when that injury took place, but another wrinkle to that offensive line, Al.
Yeah, well, that's Fain, a 10-year veteran, and Robinson is a rookie replacing him.
And one of the things that they are concerned about is he is undersized and up there against Casey Hampton right on his nose. Now 2 guys right on his nose.
Playing center tonight, he was a guard at Notre Dame. And then Dalton throws into double coverage, and it's batted away by Keenan Lewis. Intended for A.J. Green, and that's going to make it 4th and 2.
Really nice play by Keenan Lewis here. He's going to drop back underneath this throw. Play fake that way. Gresham goes across the field, so that freed up Lewis, who had to get back there in a hurry and probably saved a touchdown on that one. Just a really headsy play on the part of Lewis.
So tipped away to make it a 48-yard field goal attempt by Mike Nugent to try to give Cincinnati the lead. And Nugent's kick is good to put the Bengals back on top again after the opening drive of the second half. Two-yard line, Chris Rainey to run it back. And Rainey to the outside. Another good run back for Rainey up to the 39-yard line.
Well, tonight one of the unsung heroes has been that guy, Willie Colon, the former right tackle, moving over to left guard, learning how to play a little power football, Steelers style, and whether he's pulling or just staying on his blocks. You know how hard that is to maintain a block against a guy like Domata Peko inside, and then watch him finish this one. play is over when I say it's over. He's just I mean, yeah, that's kind of when the Steelers started turning it around. They started running the football behind Willie Cologne.
Try that Cologne run. Ball is at the 39-yard line, first down. Roethlisberger over the middle, and that is caught into Bengal territory. That is Antonio Brown. Gain of 18 on a first down.
You know, Antonio Brown, when he makes a break, you can't keep up with him. Watch him make this cut off Pac-Man Jones and just create that kind of separation. He is a punt returner, kick returner extraordinaire. And if you don't get on him and get him stymied a little bit at the line of scrimmage in space, I haven't seen anybody cover.
Give him 20 yards in your fantasy league on that reception. The ball's at the 41-yard line. And they give it to Wallace on the end around. He's got Miller, among others, out in front. Breaking tackles and a well-designed play to pick up a first down to the 28-yard line where Burfict stops him.
That's their old play where they are going to bring their tight end Heath Miller across, but this time he loops back around to the other side and plays lead blocker, so they get that bunch formation, and then because of the fake play away, able to sell the defense to take a step that way, and then Miller is still able to get in front.
From the 28. First Steeler drive of the second half. And Ben will go down. And that pass rush finally gets to him, and that's Geno Atkins picking up sack number 7.
Well, I told you he was a 500-pound bench presser. This time he's going to bench press one of the strongest guys on the Steelers, and Willie Cologne. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. I mean, Willie Cologne just buried Burfict on the play we showed you earlier, but even with a hand to the face, no match for Mighty Might Geno Atkins. That is some play.
Right through the face mask, right through Cologne, and a sack worth 8 yards to make it 2nd and 18. Swing it to the outside, and Wallace gets a block, and then he finally is forced out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Again, it's Heath Miller helping to spring him.
Well, we've seen Heath Miller score the touchdown, but tonight I think his biggest factor has been blocking. Not only has he been helping Mike Adams on the outside, that sort of athleticism to be able to take on a corner like Terrence Newman and just kick him out of the play.
3rd and 6. Rainey back in. Here comes a corner blitz, and Ben just does get it away, and it's incomplete because he had Pac-Man Jones coming in uncontested. 4th down.
You saw the safety start to shuffle over, so that's the tip. Here he comes. Pretty well timed. As Ben looks away, Pac-Man starts sliding down. Forces the quick throw.
So now to try to tie the game, here's Sweezum, good from 42, good from 47, and this is another 42-yarder. And each team with a field goal on its first possession of the third quarter. 8:17 left in the third, 17 apiece. At the goal line, Brandon Tate. And Tate to the 40-yard line. The former New England Patriot setting his team up with a good run back with 8:10 to go in the third, and a tie game in Cincinnati. When you're 75 years old, as Dick LeBeau is, and you've been around for 54 years, you've seen everything. Dick LeBeau was actually drafted by Paul Brown of the Cleveland Browns, and then went to Detroit, and all he did there was play well enough to eventually wind up in the Hall of Fame. His coaching career, Philly, Green Bay, Buffalo. He was the defensive coordinator on 2 Super Bowl teams here. He was the head coach here before Marvin Lewis took over. And there he is, Dick LeBeau, the tremendous defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and a heck of a guy. At the 39-yard line, first one. So Paul Brown made a great move by drafting him and a terrible move by cutting him.
Straight to the Hall of Fame, that guy, right?
And this is
another good play.
Keenan Ellis.
Keenan
Lewis making the tackle. Keenan Lewis.
Back to back. Keenan Lewis saved the touchdown on the last play to A.J. Green, and then comes up and makes this tackle in the backfield. So come right off the edge here. Well, I tell you, it's one thing that when you talk to Dick LeBeau, he talks about the tackling of his cornerbacks. He thinks Ike Taylor is the best tackling corner there is in the game.
2nd and 10, 39-yard line. Right through the hands of Green Ellis.
You know, one of the things I found really interesting, we were talking with Jay Gruden. He said, you know, sometimes Andy Dalton doesn't hold the ball long enough. And, you know, you and I have been doing this a while. I don't think I've ever heard that. I don't think I've ever heard an offensive coordinator say that. And what he meant was he gets the ball out of his hand so quickly. Sometimes he doesn't let the play develop down the field. So some of our shot plays never get a chance.
Certainly got it out too quickly on the pass that went off the helmet and was intercepted in the first half. And that one gets batted by Ziggy Hood. And a flag is down back at the 32-yard line. 2 penalty flags. Right in the same neighborhood here.
Yeah, Larry Foote got held.
Offense, number 30. That penalty's declined. Brings up 4th down.
That's Pierman. It's going to be 4th down and 10.
Yeah, I don't think Pierman saw Larry Foote until it was too late coming right here. He almost had to tackle him. Wrapped him up and got him down. James Harrison got pretty close on that one too.
Kevin Huber is the punter. Antonio Brown is back at the 15-yard line. And Brown will signal for the fair catch as he's flagged down, and then he gets touched at the 11-yard line. Meanwhile, you got a flag down back at the 33-yard line.
Wow, I'm surprised there wasn't a flag on the tail end of that play. He got more than touched.
It was a very quick fair catch signal by Brown.
Well, I think their officials might have one more discussion on this one.
Well, you've got the flag back down at the 34-yard line of Cincinnati. Blakeman will confer, and then it was a very fast fair catch signal made by Brown. Here's Curtis Brown on Hawkins, reaching and grabbing here. And watch the signal here by Brown. Oh yeah.
You're supposed to extend that hand.
So we kind of have a half-hearted thing. It's like, I'm gonna run this back, and
you've got the gunner out there tied up with a blocker, so he didn't see it.
Yep.
There are fouls against both teams on the play. Personal foul, kick catch interference against the kicking team. We have a holding. 57 of the receiving team. Those penalties will offset. We'll replay 4th down.
Well, so back we come. But you're right, though, Chris. It should be an extended arm. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's happened today to just kind of set up the AFC North coming in. Baltimore had a chance to really put a lot of distance between themselves and these two teams, but they were routed by the Texans today, 43-13. Indy beat Cleveland, so Cleveland not a factor right now at 1-6. And the winner of tonight's game is going to be in much better shape than the loser, because especially if it's Pittsburgh to lose the game. That means they'll miss a golden opportunity to pick up ground on the 5-2 Ravens. Now Brown takes this one at the 9-yard line, and Pierman makes the tackle at the 17-yard line. There's 7:05 to go in the third quarter. 17-all. Again, the key offensive guys who are out tonight, the Pro Bowl center Pouncey, Mendenhall, who had knee surgery in the offseason, now has an Achilles issue, and Redmond, who's the second running back, is hurt. So Jonathan Dwyer has seen a lot of the action tonight in the backfield and has done a decent job. And they give it to him, and he gets taken down. And speaking of the backs, Aaron Batch, another of the backs. Look, you don't want to mess around with schools. That's the one thing I've learned in this business. So I think before I said he went to Texas A&M, when he went to Texas Tech. There he is. There's of course, when he dropped that touchdown pass, Lubbock probably said you can give him back to College Station. But you don't want to mess. You don't want to ever trend on Twitter, right? Unless you won the lottery.
Never, ever.
God
ever.
forbid. There is Barron. We've cleaned that up. All's good in Texas. 2nd down and 12 at the 15-yard line. And to the outside to Wallace. And Wallace up to the 19. He's tackled there by Dunlap.
I'll tell you what, Al, Carlos Dunlap is a guy that I watched right over here play in college. And when the Bengals drafted him, I said, oh, no. I thought he was lazy. I didn't think he played hard enough. Lately, whatever Mike Zimmer and this defensive staff have done, he has been flying around the field. He's a different guy than what he was in college. 2 straight plays.
3rd down and 8. And Roethlisberger, as the play clock expires, gets it away. And it's going to be a little short of the first down. That's Wallace trying to extend, but the official comes in to spot it just at the 26-yard line, short of the first down.
Mike Zimmer deserves all the credit on this one. Look at this. They're going to show all pressure inside here. So it's going to force Ben to throw this hot. It was 3rd and 8. Just make a tackle short of the first down. Exactly what they did. Nate Clements came up. Send out the punter.
This will be the first Pittsburgh punt of the night. And Adam Pac-Man Jones is back to receive this kick off the foot of Butler. And Jones spinning and trying to stay alive. The flag goes down. It's tackled finally by Paulson. And a flag down on the run back portion.
I'm all for that one. Hines Ward deserves it.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 12. Penalty is 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Mohamed Sanu. 5 minutes left in the period. Time at 17. First and 10. The ball is at the 14-yard line for the Cincinnati Bengals, who begin this drive with Green Ellis taking it up to the 20-yard line. So the 2 rookies from last season picked in rounds 1 and 2. A.J. Green, 4th overall pick, and then Dalton, 35th overall, picked in the 2nd round. And you take a look at all the most by players drafted in 2011 in terms of catches on one side, passes on the other, TD receptions, TD passes. But tonight, Green has been targeted 3 times. He's caught 1 pass, and that was a touchdown. 2nd and 4. So the Steelers doing their job on him, and the pass intended for the tight end Gresham is incomplete. 3rd down.
Well, the Bengals knew that the Steelers were going to try and take away A.J. Green, and this time it was Ike Taylor out there on him. Ike Taylor had a tough game against Tennessee. Quite a few penalties in that game. Gave up a touchdown, but tonight against one of the better young receivers in the game, Ike Taylor has been good.
3rd and 4. And Green can barely get off the line of scrimmage that time. The pressure put on him and the pressure put on Dalton by Woodley. So that Steeler defense, which has been, as we said at the very top of the show, kind of the issue in Pittsburgh, up to the task here tonight.
Well, here comes Woodley off the edge over here. Really pretty good protection up front. You can't say anything about that. But when Andy Dalton pulled that thing down, he went back to the single receiver side instead of the 3 receiver side and just didn't have any options over here.
Huber's 3rd punt of the night is a line drive that's hauled in at the 42-yard line by Brown. And Brown still staying on his feet, but another flag is down to the 37-yard line. So that'll be another good run back that gets negated.
Antonio Brown's had about 100 yards of returns negated tonight. What a run that was, though. People really underestimate how strong he is.
Holding. Return team, number 24. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, one guy tonight that has had a very good night, I'm not even going to show you the touchdown, but as a blocker, Heath Miller has been asked to help Mike Adams inside, at times block defensive ends by himself, at times in pass protection, picking up Leon Hall there, and at times on these quick screens to the wide receivers. A lot of roles. When you talk to people within the Steelers organization, they don't think there is a better tight end anywhere in the game. When you're talking about a complete package, a guy that blocks, catches the ball, and makes big plays, it's Heath Miller.
Doing it for 8 years, the #1 pick out of Virginia back in 2005. And running right into Burfict is Rainey. So rookie on rookie right there to stop him in his tracks.
Well, that was some play by Vontez Burfict. And here's a guy that, coming out of college, they were putting together all kinds of big campaigns. As a freshman, he had a huge year, and they're going to get him All-American status, and he started gaining weight, and I don't know, wasn't as good, and all of a sudden he went undrafted, and Marvin Lewis went out and saw him and fell in love and said, I want him. I don't care what anybody says.
Had a terrible combine and failed the drug test as well. Apart from that, nothing much as Miller gets taken down by Burfict again.
Yeah, he was talking about when he went out on his pro day and said, I flew all the way out there and I wanted him to run a 40-yard dash and he refused to do it. And Marvin Lewis said, I dog cussed him. I was all over him. What are you talking about? You're not going to run for me. And Burfict sent him a letter and asked for his phone number and said, please just give me a chance. And then when he went undrafted, Marvin Lewis did. And it worked out for everybody.
And here he is, a starter and making an impact. And it's 3rd and 8. Lewis trying to get the crowd into it. 4-man rush. Roethlisberger over the middle, and that's caught by Brown, who spins around and takes the ball to the 49-yard line. Antonio Brown tackled finally by Newman. First down, Steelers.
It's kind of interesting. That time they didn't blitz on a 3rd and 8, just a 4-man rush. And Ben, when he gets that kind of time, just too much. Nice job by Max Starks on the outside. An aggressive move out there to the block. That was probably supposed to be a quicker throw, but nobody got there with the pressure.
2 minutes left in the quarter. And they'll run it. And they'll run it for a couple of yards. Rainey. Coming into the game, Pittsburgh has been a passing team. 62-38 has been the pass run ratio. And tonight it's about 2-to-1 passes to rushes. And Todd Haley, who's changed things around, and his priorities were to keep Ben off the ground. to throw shorter passes. Time of possession. 2nd and 8. And Wallace makes the catch, but he gets hit right away by Hall.
Time they brought Reggie Nelson down on a safety blitz and forced Ben to throw it hot. Leon Hall just came up and made the tackle and created another 3rd and long. They are doing a good job. Bengals really did not want Ben holding the ball and just sitting back there. They did not blitz the last time. They were successful before. I'll bet you they bring pressure on this one.
Those of you who picked this up from baseball, where the Giants send it to a 7th game against the Cardinals, you joined us at the right time. The game is tied. We have a half minute to go in the quarter. It's 3rd down and 6 for Pittsburgh. And a timeout is taken here.
I'm not sure Marvin doesn't think that this last catch wasn't a catch. Let's see. He's going to say, you know, the whole take it all the way to the ground.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact prior to losing control of the ball.
It's an interesting challenge in as much as it was a 2-yard gain. It's still going to be 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, he had control, knee down.
Right. If you win the challenge, it's going to be 3rd down and 8. Is that worth challenging?
You know what I think happened there? See how he rolls up on his back? I'm not sure they thought that this thing his knee ever touched down. So now when he was lying on top of Leon Hall and lost the ball, that would have been, you know, whatever, that whole thing. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Didn't see that knee down, and at that point, plays over, so it's going to cost the Bengals a timeout.
Well, the issue is, as I say, even if you win the challenge, it's 2 yards. So it's 3rd and 6 instead of 3rd and 8. The downside, of course, is that in a 17-all game with a little more than 15 minutes to play, it could cost you that timeout, which could be very precious at the end of the game.
Unless he thought it was a fumble.
Right.
You know, which is probably why he's challenging there.
But I think the play will stand. And again, for those of you who picked this up late, very big game. Baltimore loses today, so each of these teams has the opportunity to pick up a very important game in that AFC North.
And you have to begin to wonder about the Baltimore Ravens at this point, too. Ray Lewis out, Ladarius Webb out. They did not play well today. Terrell Suggs came back, had a sack, made a couple of nice plays in there. But I'm sure that these two teams watched that game today and probably are thinking this division is still very much in play.
Well, if Pittsburgh loses, then they're 2-4. This is their first division game. So they'll miss an opportunity to pick up a game on Baltimore. Cincinnati would be 3-4 and 3 losses in a row. Here's Blakeman's call.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner's right knee was down. It will remain Pittsburgh's ball. Cincinnati will be charged with their first timeout.
So it costs you a timeout. It also costs you a challenge. And they're down to 1 challenge. That normally doesn't come into play, but you never know.
Yeah, one of the problems, you know, we're talking about blitzing and making them throw hot and all that kind of stuff here. But now if you blitz and make them throw hot, before on 3rd and 8, they were just short of the first down. Here, if you throw hot and complete it, you're probably going to pick it up, needing just 6 yards.
Ball at the 45-yard line, 3rd down and 6. And Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, watching his troops line up 6 guys along the line of scrimmage. And they bring 5. And Roethlisberger throws, and he hits Sanders. And Sanders takes the ball to the 13-yard line. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, as we've mentioned a couple of times tonight, leading the league in 3rd down conversions. And it barely matters whether it's certain short, 3rd and long. They've been so proficient at moving the chains, and they do it here on the final play of the 3rd quarter, a gain of 31 yards. End of 3, 17 all. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Game tied at 17. Roethlisberger has just completed a 3rd and 6 for a 31-yard gain to Sanders to set up as we start the final quarter a first down at the 14-yard line. Running back is Rainey. And a little short arm pass to Heath Miller, who picks up 3 yards to the 12-yard line.
One of the interesting things is that when Chris Rainey is in the game, the Bengals have basically stayed in their 2 deep safeties. When they flip that around and Jonathan Dwyer comes in the game, they're more likely to start bringing safeties down out of the middle. So they're basically playing Chris Rainey as a pass player. You see the 2 safeties back in the middle of the field, almost daring them to run with Chris Rainey.
Ball spotted at the 11 on 2nd and 7. Here goes Rainey through the middle. Rainey into the end zone for a Steeler touchdown.
Maybe they shouldn't have dared him.
67 yards, 8 plays, and Rainey takes it in for the lead.
2 safeties playing back in here, and then you're going to get Heath Miller on this little kick out block, just perfectly executed. Good read, good play calling that time on the part of Todd Haley, understanding what the Bengals were trying to do defensively.
Squeeze him for the extra point. They check it upstairs just to make sure he gets in. It's confirmed. And the kick is good. So Rainey's first NFL touchdown is a big one. 24-17 Steelers. To the 25-yard line. Pierman on the run back.
Andy Dalton, we talked about it earlier, but these quick throws, that's his style from his days back in college. He's not going to allow that pass rush to develop. But from a secondary standpoint, you also understand that. The Bengals, though, have been one of the best big play passing teams in the league, and I can't remember them really taking a shot in this game. 6 touchdowns this year, over 40 yards to 5 different receivers, and thus far, they haven't even really tried.
From the 24, will they do it on this series? Start with Green Ellis. To the 28, let's go to Michelle.
Well, Will Allen, who started in place of Troy Polamalu, has a right ankle injury. He's questionable. Ryan Mundy's been getting most of the snaps. Will Allen on the sideline just holding his helmet, but he hasn't been in for a while.
Mundy is a guy who fills in, Michelle, for a lot of guys. Remember Ryan Clark, because of his sickle cell trait, couldn't play in the opener at Denver. Now you got Polamalu out. So Mundy filling a lot of spots when necessary in that secondary. 2nd down and 6. To the outside goes the pass, and that's Ryan Whalen who picks up a first down. With or without you, we'll take a look at with or without Troy Polamalu. 28-9 since 09 when he's in there. 7-9 without him. That's a difference maker. They allow about 15 points a game with him and 22 without. From the 35, and the inside handoff goes to Green Ellis to the 39-yard line.
There's Troy Polamalu, and he's the X factor. You know, he's the guy that he can line up on the right side and end up in coverage on the left side, and he's the one, especially for young quarterbacks, that just drive them crazy. And right now what you're seeing out of the Steelers is on the backside of some of these formations, they're allowing Keenan Lewis to go one-on-one so they can help to the other side against A.J. Green. There it is.
And there it is right there, and the pass incomplete as Ryan Whalen couldn't hold on, and Keenan Lewis is right there to break it up. 3rd and 6.
And A.J. Green on the other side is getting plenty of attention, and for the most part, the safeties have been rolling over that way. And so somebody on the backside, and that's really, I think, one of the weaknesses now for the Bengals is they have to find a playmaker away from A.J. Green because they're not showing the kind of respect to that other receiver that they should.
3rd and 6. This time, 8 back in coverage, and the pass not even close. Nothing but white shirts are there, and somebody missed something.
Yeah, Whalen broke to the outside, and Andy Dalton thought that he was going to break to the inside, and they're lucky that one wasn't picked. The big guy, Brett Kiesel, here inside is going to be the reason that Dalton had to get rid of that one quicker than he wanted to. That's Trevor Robinson he's working against. But the miscommunication on the outside, that one could have been big.
And Huber's punt. This time he angles it, and it just does go into the end zone. Hoping it would go out inside the 5, but it didn't happen for the Bengals. Ball at the 20 when we come back. Pittsburgh at the 20, up by 7. Draw. Give the ball to Will Johnson, the fullback, and that's his first carry of the night, gain of 5.
You know, Al, this is the point in the game now when I'm sure Steelers fans are maybe longing for the old days. They've blown some fourth quarter leads, and Ben Roethlisberger had a team meeting this week and basically said, hey guys, listen, quit relying on the defense to win games in this situation. We have to take off, have some long drives, run out the clock. It's on us, not on our defense.
2nd down and 5. Every game Pittsburgh has lost this season, they have had the lead in the fourth quarter. They have it tonight. Here's Dwyer. Ben, in pregame, exhorting his offensive linemen, and among the things he said one game, and he told the group this week, he said, hey guys, we have 11 games to go. 11. So we're 2-3. We have 11 to go.
Well, this is where he's been brilliant tonight and really all season. On 3rd down and 4 or 5 here, he has made plays and won the game to this point. Can he do it again?
3rd and 4. And this is Dwyer, and Dwyer busts one out to the 41-yard line. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, with running backs 3, 4, and 5 on the depth chart, have done a nice job. That's 112 yards on the ground for Pittsburgh tonight. Gain of 15 here.
Willie Colon coming on the power, took on Burfict again and was able to get him. But again, the Bengals on 3rd down with those 2 deep safeties, and that's patience by Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator, because 3rd and 5, Ben's been red hot all night long. He comes back and runs the football, and that's what they haven't been able to do in prior games.
And that graphic says it all. Next to last in the league in rushing, and now tonight 112 yards, far more than their average. Dwyer will pick up about 3 more to the 45-yard line.
And there's no mystery to what they're doing now. They're just going power. The only difference is they put Will Johnson, the fullback, in there. So Willie Colon's going to pull around, and now they're going to have Will Johnson in there as well, and just go old school.
Old school, the way Bill Parcells used to go. Time of possession, and of course Haley was on Parcells' staff in Dallas in the middle of the last decade. 2nd down and 6. Pressure put on, and Ben is able to slide away, and then the pass out here for Johnson is caught at the 47-yard line. That sets up a 3rd down and 4.
Well, Jonathan Dwyer just saved the day on that one. Chris Crocker is going to come flying in here, and I thought he was going to end up with a sack on the play, and watch Dwyer come in and just upend him to give him just enough time to get that ball out.
Nine minutes left, 3rd and 4. Roethlisberger throwing, and that pass is out of bounds. Antonio Brown coming down out of bounds, covered by Newman. 4th down.
Well, they took their shot down the field, got the one-on-one that they wanted. But Terrence Newman so far this year has been the best corner. He had the shot for Heath Miller going across the field. I think might have been able to pick up the 1st down, but Ben took the shot.
Drew Butler, a rookie, to Brandon Tate. And Tate makes the fair catch at the 13-yard line. Dalton goes to work from there. The Bengals down by 7 at home. Mike Tomlin has never been 2 games under 500. Take a look at that. George Allen was never 2 games under 500. The great George Halas would be second on the list. John Gruden went 89 games before he went 2 games under. And for Tomlin, if they win tonight, that'll be 86. George Allen, 5 years with the Rams, 7 with the Redskins, never 2 games under 500, never had a losing season. Pretty good list. From the 14 now. Here's Dalton on play action. That buys him some time initially, but the secondary does its work again, and that Pittsburgh defense has been doing a good job all night long.
Well, I don't think the Steelers are too concerned on the outside with Ryan Whalen over there, but here's this side, and A.J. Green is one of the best vertical receivers in the game, and they have yet to take their shot. At some point, I know Ike Taylor's having a good game, but he had a lot of pass interference calls in his last game. You have to give A.J. Green a chance to go up and simply out-jump him. Now they're rotating the coverage over his way.
Gives him a 9-yard cushion here, does Taylor, and then the pass is caught at the 21-yard line over the middle by Whalen. One of the big differences, of course, with these teams is that Pittsburgh has Wallace, and they also have Brown, and then you got Miller. Dalton has Green, and then you're looking for that second guy. And take a look at that, all the short passing done by Dalton tonight.
0 for 1 over 21. But what they're doing now, Ryan Clark, the safety, very clever play on his part. He's been in the middle of the field, but he's walking late towards A.J. Green and telling Andy Dalton, don't even think about it, and then going back to the middle of the field so he still could take the shot.
Which he just did right now. Sets up single high, and the pass is batted away, and that is Ike Taylor batting it away from Green. Taylor is a guy who would be in the crosshairs a lot, and that's always going to be the case with a cornerback who always winds up with the other team's #1 receiver.
This is a tremendous play. It's 3rd and 3. He jumps all over the route because he's really no longer concerned with getting beat deep. And you know, as a receiver, I think it gets frustrating after a while if you don't get the opportunity to back those corners off.
So a 3-and-out and a quick 3-and-out and a low bouncing kick that will roll out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Halfway through the 4th quarter, with the Steelers leading by a touchdown. From the 30-yard line on 1st down, here's Dwyer, who's been a workhorse tonight. Picks up a couple of yards.
You know, one of the things we have not talked about very much is what Dick LeBeau's defense has done since early in this ball game. Of course, they had the sack fumble in the short field for one of the touchdowns, but they have really shut down this Bengals offense in the second half and allowed the Steelers in the time of possession to really take hold. Talking to him earlier this week, he said adjustments are my favorite part of the game. You go in with plan A. If it's not working, go to B, go to C. Well, B seems like it's working pretty well right now.
Pittsburgh has gained 343 yards, and the Bengals have been held to 185. And Roethlisberger throws, and that's Miller. Into the Heath chant, he goes to the 36-yard line. Heath Miller, another big play, 30 yards.
One of the problems when you get that running game going as a linebacker, sometimes it's hard to not watch the back, and then the next thing you know, there goes Heath Miller right by you for a big play.
Six grabs tonight for the tight end. Brown and Wallace each have 7 catches. Roethlisberger 26 out of 34. And that pass has been thrown behind Wallace. 2nd and 10.
That was completely messed up. Mike Wallace had no idea. He was sort of walking off the ball, and then said, well, I'm not holding it. Well, for Mike Zimmer, he has to come up with something here. A field goal is huge. So you're right on the border of field goal range here. So you may be thinking blitz. You may be thinking something to try and make sure they don't get this next 3 or 4 yards and a big play the other way.
Petco trying to get the crowd into it. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's going to take a timeout. The play clock was all the way down. So timeout for the Steelers. Each team now has 2 remaining.
Got to give this reshuffled offensive line of the Steelers some credit. They've given up a couple of sacks, but they've helped Mike Adams over on the other side. And for the most part, remember, the Bengals had 20 sacks coming into this game, which ranks 2nd in the NFL. For the most part, the Steelers offensive line with Doug Legursky replacing Marquise Pouncey and Mike Adams replacing Marcus Gilbert has gotten the job done.
Well, the big questions for Pittsburgh coming in, what about the defense and what about the offensive line? And they've come up aces to this point on both counts.
And the running game too. And this running game has been surprisingly good as well with Rashard Mendenhall and Isaac Redmond, their first 2 backs out. It's been Jonathan Dwyer and Chris Rainey, kind of a 1-2 punch.
2nd down and 10. And Ben under pressure, and Ben will go down. Michael Johnson will take him down at the 38-yard line, and that will go into the books as a sack.
Now Max Starks had to go out to get Dan Scooter, the linebacker, and that left Willie Colon having to come in here and take care of Michael Johnson, which he could not on that spin move. But that was a big play, because now you've got to think the Steelers, at least from here, probably would not kick a field goal. And now a late injury.
You could tell Ben was late in getting up, and they were surrounding him.
Of sorts.
And then you got Emmanuel Sanders is also down. So you had Ben at the bottom, and then you got Sanders getting the injury timeout.
Now, all I know is that Emmanuel Sanders was in the huddle.
I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah, hello?
He's not looking like he's in too much pain now. Right. And then, oh, boy, here comes the cramp.
Right.
And he goes down, so now they don't have to burn the timeout.
Yep.
And that is a savvy play, let's call it that, on the part of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, yeah, but our cameras are everywhere, and we'll see how savvy it is in the league office tomorrow.
I don't think they care. If they get to keep their timeout, they're probably willing to pay for it.
Right. But you get, Ben went down. He was slow in getting up. They were surrounding him, and it's almost as if somebody said, hey, somebody's got to come out of the game. So there goes Sanders.
Okay. Don't know. Maybe he was.
Could be, yeah.
You don't know.
Either that or he'll be in Hollywood at the end of February. Getting a supporting actor statue. 3rd and 11. So they don't have to burn a timeout. The ball at the 37-yard line. Now you got 4 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. And of course you go to the right in that situation. That's another drop. Almost always you'll go to that sole guy, and that's Wallace, and that's another drop. And it will be 4th down. Here comes Sanders. He's fine.
Stunning. There we go. 4 guys over here. All the coverage comes this way. You end up one-on-one with the backside with Mike Wallace, who unfortunately for him has had a tough night catching the football. Are they going to hard count this and then punt, or really go for this one?
And Roethlisberger can't punt. He's punted before, and he will again. And so Ben does the job. He send Cincinnati back to its own 11-yard line on a play that he's used a number of times through his career with 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Man, I'm sure glad Sanders is okay.
It's a miracle. It's a great game, isn't it?
It's fabulous.
Yeah, goes back and forth. And so here we go. The Bengals defense held up. They were right on the brink of field goal range, made a couple of big plays, and so far this Bengals offense has done next to nothing the second half. It's now or never at this point.
Bengals 2 timeouts as we head toward the finish. The ball at the 11-yard line.
And now they're double covering A.J. Green.
Start on the ground with Green Ellis. Up to the 13-yard line. Lamar Woodley making the tackle. Second down and long.
Ryan Monday that time was about 25 yards deep, straight over the top of Ike Taylor. They were not going to allow A.J. Green. Here he is way back here in double coverage here. They're not going to give them that deep shot that was available on the last series.
Now Green, after starting to the left, lines up wide right, and Taylor will mirror him. They'll run it again, and the crowd will hate this. Well, the Pittsburgh fans will love it. That's Casey Hampton taking care of Green Ellis. So they run 2 running plays, and now they have a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and that was with the safety down. Boy, I tell you, Trevor Robinson cannot handle Casey Hampton. You know, he's a smaller center in the game because of 2 injuries at the center position. And maybe the Bengals just don't feel like that they're going to get that blocked up there. He is really struggling.
Big conversion here, among other things. They're going to have to start taking their timeouts on defense if they have to punt it away. 3rd down and 10. A little more than 4 minutes to go. And Dalton throws, and almost one-handed by the receiver Green, but it's incomplete, and it will be 4th down.
Well, you know, you're going to get coverage now, but this is what this guy can do. A.J. Green has the ability to go above people and make plays. He just has not been given much of an opportunity to do that so far in this evening. You watch his highlight tape, he has all kinds of plays on the resume where he makes that catch.
Huber to punt. Good punt this time, bouncing at the 35 as Brown has to let it go, and down to the 31, but we have 3:57. Remember, Cincinnati had to burn that timeout on that challenge before, so they have to start thinking about using it defensively. Robinson now needs some assistance coming off for Pittsburgh. Adrian Robinson, and Peyton Manning, of course, had the week off and was down in Tennessee last night. I saw him on the sideline at the Alabama-Tennessee game, celebrating the 15th anniversary of their '97 squad.
So there you go.
Peyton refreshed and off that stirring comeback against San Diego last Monday. From the 32-yard line, Pittsburgh on 1st down. And they're going to give it to Brown. And Brown's going to cut it back, and Brown's going to get taken down by Burdick. Perfect. He's had Vontaze Burfict, a good night again. The rookie, we've talked about him a lot, out of Arizona State, making a mark.
Yeah, went undrafted out of Arizona State just like you did.
I was almost drafted.
Would have meant something different back in the day.
Right. Oh, man. 2nd down and 10. And Ben now working the clock, milking it. Taking it all the way down. An off play action. And he throws and having to slide down, and Wallace makes the catch. So Wallace going to the ground. Bengals say no. Let's see if he got it. The ball at the 43, and of course the Bengals very interested in a possible challenge here. Well, for the moment, it's a 1st down at the 43-yard line. And the crowd,
as fast as they can.
Right. The crowd wants Lewis to challenge. Kind of a double-edged sword there for Pittsburgh. Yeah. I mean, Lewis doesn't know whether to challenge or not. This is going to cost him another timeout if he loses it, and that's going to be huge.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass for a first down.
All right, this is very close. I mean, we saw the replay, but there's a lot in play here, including a loss of a very important timeout. So Lewis challenges this. If the ground helps you control the ball, it can be overturned. That's the whole question right here. He gets his hands underneath, and then as he goes down, does the ground help him control the football and keep possession of it? Remember, they changed this rule a lot of years ago after the Bert Emanuel play in a playoff game, Tampa Bay against St. Louis, and that's exactly what the situation. It looks like the ground to a degree helps him. Is there enough evidence there to overturn it?
Well, and plus the ball rotated a little bit in his hands. I have to say, when I saw it initially, I thought it was a catch, and I still would probably watch it, the ball right on the tail, and not when it hits the ground the first time, but just a moment afterwards. Watch it rotate just a little bit right there. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, very. I mean, this could go either way. Now, if he doesn't get it again, it's going to be a completion. It's going to be a first down. It's going to be a loss of a timeout. If nothing else, this is Lewis's second challenge, so he doesn't have any more challenges, but that's not particularly relevant since there are only 40 seconds till we get to the 2-minute warning, and then there are no challenges anyway.
That's a close one. I have to say, I have to go with my initial gut reaction was that he had it.
If they overturn it, it brings it back to make it 3rd down and 10.
Can't get any bigger than this call.
Here's Blakeman.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands. It is a reception. It will be first down for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's charged their second timeout.
Well, that's the double whammy right there. You lose the challenge, you lose the timeout. Pittsburgh gets a first down, and they can really go to work on the clock now.
It's interesting, the call, though, that it stands, that there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it.
Right.
Because it was called a catch on the field, it stands, wasn't confirmed.
Right. That's one of those things where if it's called the other way and Tomlin challenges, it probably still stands. It was that close.
Still have the 2-minute warning, though, and one timeout.
And Ben back up there in a game that's a 7-point game. Pittsburgh has done all of the scoring in this half. And there goes Dwyer, and he's going to pick up the first down to the Cincinnati 43-yard line. And now the Bengals will use their final timeout, and the clock will stop once more at the 2-minute warning after the next play.
Domata Peko is their best run player right there. Legursky goes away. Peko has a clean shot. And just like Ben Roethlisberger told us, he looks a whole lot like Jerome Bettis, Jonathan Dwyer does. He's had a nice night.
Beautiful. 14 carries, 87 yards. They were next to last in the league in rushing. And tonight they have rushed the ball for 133 yards.
Well, that one tells you all you need to know. The time of possession in their favor. But this looks like the way the Pittsburgh Steelers come in here and beat the Bengals on a very regular basis. The Bengals will never be able to compete at a high level until they can someday beat the Steelers here.
From the 43. Dwyer back to the line of scrimmage. Last in the league in rushing coming in today was Tennessee. A lot of that Chris Johnson unable to get on track, but he did today in Tennessee's win over Buffalo. Johnson today with 195 yards. And so Marvin Lewis against the Steelers. No, this
can't beat them here.
This will take them to 1-9 in the regular season if they lose the game, plus that devastating playoff loss when Carson Palmer hurt on the first play of the game along with Chris Henry at 05. 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh up by 7. Yeah, 2nd and 10. And Pittsburgh won a couple of plays, and at worst would have to punt with about 30 seconds left in the game. And they give it to Dwyer, and Dwyer takes the ball to the 39-yard line.
You know, you have to say this is why the Pittsburgh Steelers are the Pittsburgh Steelers. They come in here, 2 offensive linemen can't play. Their 2 starting running backs can't play. Troy Polamalu not there. The first half, the Bengals are all over them at home. And quietly, they go back to their running game. Dick LeBeau makes a few changes on the defensive side, and they shut down the Bengals.
And there was that killer interception in the first half. Dalton trying to hold on to the ball, winds up off the back of a helmet and into the arms of the Steelers, and this will wrap it up for good. Dwyer, he gets taken down from behind at the 9-yard line. So Dwyer, number 3 on the depth chart, but number 1 in the hearts of Steeler fans tonight. 17 carries, 122 yards, 32 on that one.
Watch Doug Legursky. Here's a guy playing basically in place of maybe the best center in the game in Marquise Pouncey, and he's been terrific. Willie Colon comes down, helps on the double team. They run right up the gut. Everybody in the house knows that you're going to run the football, and the Pittsburgh Steelers can still run it. And now a little victory formation, and well-deserved. They played a great game.
Kneel down will end it. Steelers rushed for 167 yards tonight. They outgained them 431 to 185. The time of possession, almost 37 minutes. And they win one on the road, and that's their first division game of the season. So 1-0 in the AFC North. And they can start looking up at the Baltimore Ravens, but feeling a whole lot better about things after the events of this Sunday. And they go home next week to take on the Washington Redskins. Cincinnati will have a bye week and then face Denver.